All right, my dude, we're recording. You ready?
Yo, fam.
Because the boys in the hood are always hard. What up, fam? It's
What
my,
up?
bo- it's my boy, Ricky Dolla Green on the line, on video. My boy is
Hammer no
dropping a,
hurting.
my boy is dropping a new single. Why don't you tell him about it?
Why? That's not a question. That's what it's called.
Yeah,
Did you see what I did there, Preston?
I see you. It's almost like, what kind of jeans are those? Guess.
No, that's a good one. That's the same thing.
Showing a
So
little age there.
yeah. So we're super excited, man. This is the second one. I don't really have all the release dates planned for Face Off, but except for it's going to be finished by December 31st and released by December 31st. We have a virtual concert, Kylie and I, on next Thursday. So we've arranged the release for the next one, Y, to drop on next Thursday, September 17th. And I'm super excited about it because I was telling you last time we talked that each release on this, in my opinion, each release is stronger, better. It just keeps getting better. So the good stuff still it's still sitting there, but it's all great, right? I think so. But yeah, I'm excited about why it's got a feature Sydney Sleadd on there, who's kind of on the same path I am, and she's a singer songwriter who she shreds, man. She plays a guitar and sings with her soul, and I'm super excited to get to work with her in this way. And so yeah, we're pumped. I'm pumped.
Well, I think uh, the thing that's interesting about that song is you sent it to me, didn't tell me anything about it or what it was about, because this is these singles are off the Face Off LP, right?
GP. Yep.
EP, and I was going back through my memory at like your story, and I was thinking, who's this about? What relationship is this about? And I
Yeah.
vaguely remember you going to jail and then trying to get back with this girl, and she left. And I'm like, bro, what's the story here? Who's this chick about? And then you lift back, you move the curtain and let me see behind the curtain, and what's
Yeah.
it actually about? What relationship is it really about, my man?
Yeah. Dude, you're killing it. Dude, I love that. When you called and said what you said about, okay, it's about a chick, and like it was like, yes, like it worked, right? Because there's only a handful of people that hear these before they get released, and everybody knew the whole story, right? So you're kind of the first one that heard it before you knew what the story was, and the whole thing, man. When you hear it, the cover art, it's supposed to look like some seductive, you know, big beautiful lips that because that's what it was for me, right? Because the record is about, it seems like it's about going through a breakup, and it can be if that's what you need it to be in the moment, right? Music is relative, but it's about the first true love, my first so my relationship with addiction and with dope, the parallels to that relationship and what an abusive relationship look like is crazy, right? So that's what the song's about. I'm talking about, it starts off, it said, I thought we had a deal, right? There was this agreement that, um, I use you, you use me, like, let's make this work. That was our agreement, right? And I remember like at the end, bro, like I remember what it was like when everybody's telling me I have to stop. Like, you have to stop, man. You can't live this way anymore, right? So like basically the whole world is telling me, hey, you know that thing that's been with you and like that's made it okay, and that thing that for the first time ever in your life, when everything was too much, it made you okay. Yeah, you need to get rid of that. And there's anguish there, there's pain, there's hurt. It's like everybody around me is telling me it's time, dude. You got to get rid of this. You've got to stop this. You have to, you know. And I remember the pain of that, right? I remember, and it because it was a breakup, Preston. Like you know what I'm getting at, right?
Yeah.
It is a breakup. It's the hardest breakup I've ever been through in my life. So the song does sound like it's heartache, it's pain. Somebody, there's a betrayal, and it sounds like it's of course you would get, maybe that's about a relationship, and the truth is it's about my relationship with, it's about breaking it off with addiction. So
Well, one thing that I think is kind of cool, and you touched on it, is how music can have multiple meanings, and that was intentional. Because what I was thinking of was the relationship with your mom when you were younger. You talked about being 9. Your mom was in her addiction and struggling with mental health and addiction, and then any variation of relationships with with the spouse, with the opposite sex, whatever. And then I too also experienced the breakup when I quit using. Is you have this relationship with a substance, and it's for fun in the beginning. It's
Yeah.
just a thing, and it's cool, um and there's like, oh, I got this under control. We just do a little bit on the weekends and this and that, and then becomes a um somewhere in there it becomes like a little bit of a dependence. So now it becomes a coping mechanism. So when I feel happy, I use. When I feel sad, I use. When I feel uneasy, I use. I wouldn't have put those words on it, but it becomes that. And then before you know it, it's full on addiction, where it's like a just an unhealthy abusive relationship. And then by the time you realize, oh crap, I'm in too deep, like you're locked and loaded and going through, whether for me it was getting arrested, for you getting in trouble as well. And then when you finally come to this realization of, I'm addicted, this is probably at the root of a lot of things, I'm going to stop. It literally feels like you're breaking up with a spouse, with your girlfriend, with your boyfriend. And you're like, I can't. It's like that time we to say, I couldn't imagine my life with or without drugs. Like,
Yes.
with it, I was miserable. I can't imagine my life without it. And if I'm doing anything other than the way I've been living for the last number of years, it literally feels like a betrayal. It feels like I'm breaking up with someone, going through a divorce. And so there's so many meanings in that song, that, just like I told you before, once I start to learn behind the music, once I start to learn
Yeah.
the story, the song becomes so much better. Same
Yeah.
experience with this one as well.
Dude, I love that. And I'd like to talk a little bit about the lyrics because everything you said lines up, except for, I think for me, man, yeah, it was fun. I had fun using, but it was really the first time I started it, it was an instant, okay, you made me okay, right? It was an instant, like, I needed it instantly, right? And then,
Right.
like, if we break down, just at least let me go until I want to explain. But so, like, that first verse that comes in, and I say, it's hard to let you go when I'm still holding on. They said I should leave you. I don't need you. I should be moving on. This shit is stupid hard, and I ain't ready for it. They said I should leave you. I don't need you. I ain't ready for it, right? And that's what I'm saying. Like, that's what everybody's saying. And then I go into the angst, right? Well, they weren't there, were they? They weren't there when she despaired to have her prayers working. She wanted to die daily, and
What
I
was
was
that? So
9 maybe.
that was your mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she wanted to die daily, and I was 9 maybe. I'm on the couch with mom talking about, don't cry, baby. Right. So that's what I'm talking about. So when everybody's in my ear telling me I don't need, you don't need them, you got to leave, you got to stop. Well, you weren't there, were you? Right. Like, that's where I was at. I remember that. That's where the whole why comes from, is why is it, like, why me? Like, why am I going through this? Why is this so hard? Because I remember what it was like when everybody that loved me telling me I have to stop. Well, then there's this, I feel like every addict's plight of, you don't know what it's like, right? If you had my pain, if you hurt like I hurt, you would do this too. So that's where I remember being there. And that's where the next part of that comes into, well, they weren't there, were they? They weren't there, when she despaired to have her prayers working. And I go into what I'm talking about by the end of that is, you gave me hope when there was none. I owe my life to you. I'm talking about dope and the relationship with that, right? Like, so, like, it was just like this huge ambivalence, this whole push pull, this, it that's the best way I could describe it, was like a breakup, right? Um, and then even towards the end of the song, like, that's how it ends. It ends with, it's kind of leaves you wanting, right? It's kind of open. It's kind of like, okay, what's the resolution here? Well, like, that was on purpose too, right? Really the only point I wanted to get across was the the parallel of abusive relationship and where I was stuck at, right? Because what it ends on is I hate you, right? You ruined my life. I hate you for it. I'm still in love with you though, and
Mm-hmm.
I hate you for it, right? Like I've had my share of abusive relationships too, and it's the exact same thing, right? So I left it kind of hanging, like I left it hanging, kind of on purpose because it's a part of the Face Off EP. So you're getting a piece of the whole. What we're doing with these singles is we're piecing together the whole thing, and it'll all, like, by the time when you play them on the EP, Preston, it's what I've been doing. I have them on a playlist. I have every song on here on a playlist, and they ride, and it's like everything's in order.
So you're saying you're taking the listeners on a journey.
It's exactly what I'm doing, Preston. And
What
I'm so hyped about to get to do this. Actually,
one of the a couple of things that you said made me think of, you and I vibe well because we suffer from the same mental and emotional disorder, the disease of addiction and alcoholism. But there's plenty of people that grow up in dysfunctional relationships or dysfunctional households that at the age of 9 you're having to console a grown woman, your mother, or you say they weren't with you, were they, or some
yeah,
variation of. It's like, how many kids are struggling in school? They're struggling with behaviors. They're struggling with all this risky behavior. And all they're trying to do is fill a hole because at home is just so chaotic, or they don't have the words for it. All they know is they just feel uncomfortable and it's hard. And, broken homes, the amount of people that have, whether their parents are in and out of their life, but as they're trying to put words and feelings together, an outlet like drug and alcohol, acting out, getting attention in other ways is just a way to cope. And it's so easy to go, Ricky, why don't you just quit? Ricky, why are you acting like this? And as a kid, it's like, well, it's crazy at home. I don't know what else to do, and I'm looking for attention in all the wrong places or right places, um,
yeah,
until it becomes so dysfunctional that you love this substance so much, you love this person so much, you need to get out. You can't think of any way to get out. You can't imagine your life without it. So how many people stay in these just such uncomfortable, dysfunctional, gross relationships, whether it's with substance or people, because they don't know any better? Even going a little bit below the surface is they don't feel worthy enough to have anything better. That's what was modeled generation after generation after generation, that this is what relationships are. They're dysfunctional, they're abusive, they're manipulative. And to be able to break free from that, and I think part of your story is giving people hope, whether it's
yeah.
an abusive relationship or a relationship with the substance. You can get out of that and have hope and change your life. And that's a lot of about what you advocate for and what you talk about in your art.
Yes, dude. That's exactly it, bro. And like I think to piggyback on what you're talking about, for me, and I think for them, that's a judgment call, right? I'm making a judgment that for people that are in that situation, and I'm making that judgment based on my own experience. For me, it was as I knew it was crazy. I knew it wasn't right, right? But you know what it was for me, Preston? It was safe.
Mm,
I knew that world. I knew what to expect. I knew I just knew it was safe, right?
yeah.
And that's why this piece of the Face Off EP is on the Face Off EP, because it's another piece of the vulnerability in, because that's what the vulnerability says. It's not safe, right? Right. So when I try to step outside of that, when I try to grow past that, everything inside me says it's not safe. You're gonna die, right? Um, so that's why this song is a part of the Face Off EP, because it's another level of that vulnerability where I'm standing in, owning, talking about what that was like, and getting that out in the open, in a very vulnerable way, right? And the truth is, through this whole thing, what Face Off really represents is the only true freedom there is, Preston, is through absolute vulnerability. That's just true for me, right? Like, I've been doing this for 14 years. I've been around some of the best therapy and the best treatment centers, in my opinion, that that there is. And from all my experience and from all that exposure, I still believe that to be true, is that the real true freedom is there's only one way, and it's from vulnerability. It's everything that I ever wanted in my life is right on the other side of that fear that I just described. That's what I'm talking about when I say it was safe, right?
Mm.
Because outside of that, it's not safe. I don't know what to expect. Oh my God, you know. So, yeah, dude, this turned into a really deep and good talk all of a sudden. Like, this is fire. So, like, that's where we're at with why, Preston. It's about absolute vulnerability. That's where I'm at.
That's legit. The other thing I was thinking about was when you talk about safe, and for, either someone from the outside or maybe a normie, or people that may
And
not have
Norman,
the exact experience, is
yeah,
that's crazy. Like, what do you mean that's safe, or how could that be safe? And how many people do you? Everyone knows that someone's in a dysfunctional relationship, or everyone knows that the path that this person is going down is nothing but trouble, jails, institutions, and death. I think of people that are from rough communities, that the only idols or mentors that they saw were drug dealers or criminals, or athletes and rappers, and or relationships, that the only relationship that they've ever seen is dysfunctional. And we talk about being safe. I always also think about being stuck in mediocrity. I'm scared of success and failure. I'm scared of change. I know I want to change, but I'm terrified of change. So I might as well just stay right here in mediocrity, or I might as well just stay right here in this job that I hate and can't stand, and it's not
yeah,
enough money, but I'm too terrified to do anything different. I can't imagine, this is the wife, the mother of my kids, or the father of my kids. I can't imagine being out of a relationship and being fully self-supporting. Just how many different layers are people sitting in? I'm using the term mediocrity, but it's this safe
complacency.
place,
Yep,
complacency.
yep,
It's safe. They're numb. They have this big image, or these visions of like what I want to be when I grow up, or I want to do something different, I want to create, but yet they're just terrified and don't have the tools. And I think whether it's addiction, relationships, or just struggling to find your path as a parent, as a spouse, and professionally, is when I hear you be vulnerable, when I hear you share stories, when I hear you peel back the curtain and me go, oh, damn, he's got some stuff back there. It inspires me to do the same thing. And that's how we kind of crawl out of that middle, that safe place, with the help of others, mentorship, sponsorship, support groups.
yeah,
And I think that's how we move the conversation forward around mental health, addiction, relationships, parenting, is being vulnerable and opening that door for people to go, I need help too. I don't know what I want, but I know I don't want this, and I want to do something different. And it's just so many people are going through that.
yeah. Dude, this is fire. You're killing it right now.
So what do you think what's next? So when is Y dropping? And can you give us any insight on what's next, what you're dropping next, what the track may or may not be about, when you think the next track might be coming out?
Yeah. So
When is
the
Y dropping?
Y drops on the 17th at midnight. So I'm using this video as actually my first push for people to pre-save. So this video will have a pre-save link with it,
Yep.
and it's
And
going to be my
pre-save on
first.
Spotify, right?
Right, which is where you just save it so that you get alerted and it'll automatically add it to a playlist.
Perfect.
Um, After that, it's kind of up in the air, man. It's probably going to be Window Pane. Window Pane is it's the toughest record I've ever made, man. And Window Pane is spelled Pain, right? So I'm speaking from a place as if and the videos are coming with this too, man. So that's the gift and the curse. And I'm doing this all kind of by myself. All of it, the writing, the mixing, the mastering, the marketing, so that it's a lot. And my video is that's the part that's sitting in there waiting. So I wanted to have a rollout of those too, but the music has to keep coming right now.
Yeah.
So that's what I'm focusing on, is the music. But the next one is going to be Window Pane, and that's kind of where, if I was sitting in a rocking chair, staring out a window on a rainy day, Preston, talking about my hurt. That's what Window Pane is. This is the last one Kylie's on, right? Kylie killed. This is the last one we recorded.
Window Pane, or why?
What's that?
Window Pane is the last one she's on?
Yeah, Window Pane. And it's just about, what it would be. It's about the hurt, man. It's about the hurt.
So when people listen to this, what do you want them to do? So where can they pre-save it? Where can they follow you? And maybe a couple of shout outs to the other people that you're collabing with on this single, and let us know what to do from here.
Great question. 7 of the 8 songs on Face Off are produced by Raspo Beats. He's from somewhere overseas. I don't even know where he's from. We exchange emails though. So the Raspo Beats is the one who produced everything on here except one of them. This song is with Sydney Sleadd. So Y is with Sydney Sleadd. She comes in here and just destroys this hook. Like, I love
the hook is fire. It reminds me of I want to say it's a Rihanna song or something, but it was good, man. It is on point.
She's got a very big voice, right? Like she can fill a room with cold chills without any audio processing whatsoever. She can sing.
Yeah.
So yes, I'm so excited to get to have a song with her, because we've been friends for 7-8 years probably, and this is the first time we've ever worked together. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So and Kylie's on here. Kylie's part in this. She does background vocals for Sydney in the hook, so she's mixed in there. But Kylie's that Y that you hear. There's this repetitive Y, and that's all Kylie. That's my favorite part of the song actually, because it just the texture of that and the way it hits. So the goal is to run the Spotify numbers up. It's been a month since we dropped Here We Go Again, which was the first release from the Face Off EP. It's been a month. We're at 110,000 monthly listeners. That's in 30 days from Here We Go Again. So I'm expecting.
So just for the listeners, your boy had about 11 before he started dropping this.
11 counting you.
That's right.
11 in you.
Yeah.
So,
and now how many monthly listeners you getting?
110,000.
That's
110,000 monthly listeners. So I'm expecting that audience because once they get notified of this new release, it's right there with the whole thing. So I'm expecting the numbers to do even better on this one. That's where I'm driving the traffic is Spotify. I want to get that platform. I want to get those numbers pumping, and I'm also trying to grow the other stuff, but I have to have a focus. And right now my focus is Spotify.
And so tell me specifically what listeners can do if they want to support you and your music and like what you're putting out. What do they actually do on Spotify? They go on and they pre-save, they add your stuff to lists, they follow you. Tell me what that looks like.
All those things, specifically follow. If you follow me on Spotify, what that does is it builds a database so that every time I release something, you get it. And that really helps with telling Spotify, who's popular on there, because that's how they prioritize what they put in front of people is what's popular. They want to keep people on the site, right? So ideally, I want you to go save stuff. I want you to follow me and add anything I got to playlist. Like that's the growing edge right now is Spotify.
And that's Dolla Green on Spotify.
Yep, Dolla Green on Spotify.
And drop your Instagram, Facebook, anything else you want to them to check
out? Instagram, both of them are at Dolla Green TV. So if you type either of those in on Facebook or IG, that's where I'll be.
Nice. All right, my brother. I really appreciate it. I really love doing these with you. And,
dude, you're the man.
And thanks for coming on.
Yeah, man. Thanks, bro.
Thought I could count on you. I thought we had a deal. I gave you all I had. Put you in front of friends. It was me and you. For it was one of them. I introduced you to them. I should have seen it then. It was never about me. It's what I could do for you. What you could get about me. Who I could introduce you to. I knew the truth. Still there was nothing I would do for you. A fool for you. You break my legs. Still jump through hoops for you.
Why?